I really wanted to talk about the first step to building $1 million business. I hit my first $1 million, and then the next year, which is this year, we hit $1 million again. And so there were very specific things that I did, very specific thinking that I had to master. Let's get into it. Hey, Courtney Sanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time certified 7-figure life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things. And this is actually my second year running a 7-figure coaching practice, which is really exciting. I'm, towards the end of the year as I'm recording this, it's November 2023. And so I'm doing all of my preparation and financials for 2024. And I was like, oh my goodness, this has been another $1 million year, which is really, really exciting. And so I know a lot of people aspire to that. I also know a lot of people don't. Some people are just like, hey, I just want to run, a 6-figure, maybe multi-6-figure lifestyle business. If I just have enough to travel and have, financial independence, I'm good. I don't need to have $1 million business, and that's awesome. But I know a lot of people are like, I need to have $1 million business. What is it that I need to do in order to grow my business to $1 million? And I know a lot of people never even thought about it, right? Maybe they didn't think that $1 million business was possible for them, but now they hear me and, other coaches and just online entrepreneurs talking about it. And then they're like, well, I guess if I could run $1 million business, what would that entail, right? So in this video, I really wanted to talk about the first step to building $1 million business, because even though I've been in business for a while now, I've technically been online since 2009. I've been a registered business since 2011. I've been coaching since 2014, and I've been coaching full time since 2016. So your girl has been in some, version of entrepreneurial pursuits for well over a decade now. But even though I've been an entrepreneur, been, in the entrepreneurship space for that long, I can honestly say that I was not building a $1 million business until about 3 years ago, right? So I really focused on building $1 million business. And then the next year I hit my first $1 million. And then the next year, which is this year, we hit $1 million again. And so there were very specific things that I did, very specific thinking that I had to master, a lot of mindset shifts. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today in this podcast. By the way, I forgot to mention that this is a podcast episode. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you can of course listen to this on iTunes and Spotify if you need to work out or, wash dishes or, do your driving commute or whatever it is. And if you're listening to this on iTunes and Spotify, you can come on over to my YouTube channel if you want to see all of my crazy expressions. But with that, let's get into it. All right, so before we get into the first step to building your $1 million business, let's talk about why you would even aspire to that. Because again, I know some people are like, I just want to have a lifestyle business where I have some extra money and can travel and whatever. And that is possible, and that's, an amazing thing. But I gotta be honest, I feel like for many niches within the coaching industry, unless you have a very, very specific niche, right? And I think about a client that I have right now. It's actually one of my done for you clients. And I feel bad every time I mention my done for you service on, my podcast / YouTube channel, because it's not quite ready yet, right? We're only accepting beta clients, but I do have a service where we do everything for you, right? So we create your course for you. We kind of take your information, but ghostwrite it. We shoot it for you. We create all of your content. We publish all of your social media. And so I'm really excited. I have a client who's already started landing her own clients based on the work that my team has done. But I just think how awesome, it is that she's in this space, because her particular niche is so unique. It's so specific. Not a lot of people are doing that. And she's one of the few people, I can't even think of anybody else who does specifically what she does. So the fact that she's making a name for herself in this space is awesome. And so I say that because someone like her in a very unique niche definitely has the opportunity to build, a 6-figure business super easy, multi-6-figure business super easy. However, if you're in a niche that tends to be more crowded, if there's, already a lot of players in the space, that's not a reason not to go after it. In fact, that's a whole side note. That's actually a reason why you should go after it, because it also means that the niche is validated. But I just say that you'll want to actually focus on building $1 million business if you can, because it's easier to be competitive if you focus on building a bigger business. And I can say this now because running a 7-figure business is actually a lot easier than running a 6-figure business, if you can believe it. And in part, that's because there's more resources that are available to you. The biggest thing that I've been learning about that I'm like, wow, more people should talk about this, is there's more capital available to you. And I find that capital is not really a discussion in the online entrepreneurship space, even though it should be, because, you know, people think like, oh, my business doesn't have any overhead, right? Like I don't have some brick and mortar store, I don't have inventory, I'm not selling clothing or whatever. So there's not this discussion or like this thought process or this need for capital. But you will find, even with an online business, yes, there are still expenses, and your greatest expense is going to be your labor, right? Your labor costs go up because you need more people supporting you to run this business. So on one hand, it's easier because you have more people who are doing things for you so that you can focus on the strategy, you can focus on product development, you can focus on being innovative, on making your coaching programs different and unique and super effective. Like you can focus on all of that because you're not like stressed out about, oh my goodness, what am I going to publish on Instagram today? Because you have a social media team who is managing that for you. So that's what I mean. In many respects, it's easier to run a 7-figure business than it is to run a 6-figure business. And it's kind of, I mean, I hate to say this, I know some people are gonna get mad at me, but it's kind of that like the rich get richer type thing. Like when your business crosses a certain level, because of the amount of resources that are available to you, it's easier for bigger businesses to get bigger because again, they have more access to capital. They have relationships with banks that are different, right? Even as a small business, you know, if you are a sole proprietor, right, you don't have your LLC filed, which you totally should. I actually have a video that talks about all the things you need to have set up if you want to, you know, legally set up your coaching business. So you can check that out. But, you know, beyond if you have an LLC, you'll find that as you start doing a higher number of revenue, like the bank treats you a little different, right? It's not just, oh, you going into the bank and oh, let me get this check and let me deposit. Suddenly you have a private banker who is reaching out to you and is like, oh, don't come to the bank. Like, text me what you need or email me what you need. Oh, you need a cashier's check? How much? Like, I will get the cashier's check for you and I'll, you know, drop it off. Like, what? This is a thing, right? You start getting invited to different events. Both the bank, you know, has kind of like events that they bring on for certain clients. There's other events that you get invited to, networking events. And, you know, it's just a different level and there's more resources, you know, made available to you. And I even saw this when I was at the multi-6-figure level. I remember the year before I did my 7-figure year, I had done about $650,000 in revenue. I had attended this mastermind where it was like nothing but, you know, $1 million and multi-million-dollar businesses. And one, the mindset was like totally different. It really stretched me because I was like, oh, y'all want me to do what? Like I still had that kind of small mindset of like, I don't know if I can do that because I'm not making as much money as you guys are. And they're like, yeah, you're not making as much money as we are because you're not doing the things that we do. Like you have to do what we do first and then the revenue comes after the fact. And so I was like, oh, okay. Really scared, started to do that stuff. And sure enough, they were totally correct. That is exactly what happened. But even being in that mastermind, I got introduced to resources in my business that like literally I couldn't Google, right? Like specific vendors, contractors, like people who can perform certain services. Like there's a lot of, I don't want to call it backdoor stuff, but kind of things, just it's like within a network. Like there's a lot of things that can help you grow your business that again are not Googleable or, you know, you're not just going to find out about it just because, right? It's going to be somebody who already has access to that resource who is then making the introduction and connecting you to them. And those introductions go a big way as well. You have people vouching for you who you're like, oh yeah, this person is running this business. They're doing an amazing job. A lot of doors open. So I say all that to say that is why I would recommend going for the $1 million business, because at the end of the day, the work is the same. You're just going to do different things, which kind of leads into what I believe the first step to building a $1 million business is. And you might think that I would say the first step is to do the math, right? In fact, for years, that's what I thought the first step was. So all this time, like I said, I've only technically been building a $1 million business from 3 years ago. But if you would have asked me at that time, was I building a $1 million business? I would have told you yes, right? Like even before I quit my job and I was focusing on growing my business, I really thought in my heart of hearts that I was building a $1 million business, but I was not. And part of why I was not building a $1 million business, even though I thought I was because I was doing the math, right? I was looking at, okay, if I want to make $1 million a year, that means I need to make about $83,000 or so a month. And if I need to make $83,000 or so a month. If I have a $1,000 course, then that means I need to sell 83 copies of this course every single month. And if I need to sell 83 copies every single month, then that means I need to sell a little over 20 copies every single week, right? So I was like breaking down this math, thinking like, oh, okay, great. This is the strategy. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all of my resources into selling this $1,000 course to make sure that I can sell 83 of them per month so that I can hit my, $1 million revenue. And I say this because so many of us have this false understanding of what scaling really is. We hear the word scale and we're like, oh, right, I just need to take what I'm already doing and just make it bigger, right? Yes, but it depends on what you're already doing, right? Some businesses are actually not scalable based on where they are and the type of sales that you're making, right? For instance, if I'm doing one-on-one coaching and I'm selling one-on-one coaching sessions for $150 an hour, and I'm like, oh, I want to build $1 million business, and I do the math of what it's going to take for me to scale, there's actually not enough hours in the day, especially when we subtract time for sleeping, for eating, for just living. Like, there's not enough work hours in the day, let alone in the week and in the month, even if I work 7 days a week, at that price point or for that particular offer for me to hit $1 million a year. And so I say this because a lot of people aspire to $1 million years. You know, they put it on their vision board. Again, as I'm recording this, is at the end of the year. And so I know a lot of, vision boards with $1 million checks written on it are going to be created in this coming year. But people are not asking the question of if their business is even set up to support $1 million revenue, right? Do you have offers that can actually create $1 million revenue? Can your business actually scale? No, scaling is not just selling more of what you're already selling, because what they don't tell you and what I'm now learning as my business grows is like every time you hit a critical level, something breaks, right? It's just, now I'm like, okay, this is just par for the course. In the beginning, oh, this used to stress me out. I'd be like, what in the world? I did everything right. Why is this thing breaking, right? That's actually a good thing. It means that you are getting ready to go to the next level. And so understand that if you're selling $150 coaching sessions, that's actually a system that's probably going to break when you start nearing 6 figures. And so if you don't know that and you're like, oh, I want to build $1 million business, like I need to keep going, and you keep pouring more gasoline on this $150 coaching session fire, it's going to blow up, but it's not going to scale, right? So there's certain things that happen at each level that you have to keep in mind. And again, I think a lot of people have misconceptions on what it actually means to scale. So with all of that said, what is actually the first step to building $1 million business? And so this big mindset shift that I made 3 years ago, as of me recording this, that then led to $1 million year and now beyond $2 million years and now beyond. I think we're definitely going to go beyond that in the years ahead. Is I actually didn't focus on building $1 million business. I focused on building a multi-million-dollar business. And even as I'm recording this, no, I don't have a multi-million-dollar in a year business yet, but that's actually what I'm focused on. That is the infrastructure that I am building, that the types of programs that I create, again, the hires that I'm making, like the marketing, everything that I'm doing is in service of actually growing the business to multi-millions, not millions. And this is so important because when you are shooting for a target that you've actually never hit before, one, you underestimate how much effort is going to be required, right? So if I only focused on the target of, oh, I want to build $1 million business, I probably would have hit maybe 700,000, maybe 800,000 would have been great, but I probably wouldn't have hit $1 million because I've never hit that target before. And I actually don't know what goes into it, how much effort, etc. And so I find that shooting beyond the target, right? My mom used to say growing up, if you shoot for the stars and you miss, at least you land on the moon. That's actually a real business strategy in many respects, because when you focus on hitting a bigger target, again, you restructure everything in your business for that target so that even if you miss that target, you're still higher than what your original target is. I mean, it's classic think bigger. And so when I made the decision, right, I went to this mastermind and I was doing $650,000 a year and thought I was doing it, okay? And then I'm like humbled in this room with people who are doing 7 million a year, 10 million a year, 30 million a year. And they're looking at me like, little girl, like, no one was like patronizing like that, but I felt that way. I was like, oh, I feel like, little girl, what are you doing here? No, but they were really, really doing it. I made a decision. I was like, I don't even know how this is going to happen. But I'm no longer looking to make $1 million, right? Because up until that point, that's what I told myself I wanted, but I was doing the math wrong, right? I was doing what I just talked about before. I was taking what I was already doing and I was trying to extrapolate it to like, oh, if I just do more, I'll get to $1 million, not realizing that I was hitting a critical threshold with the types of offers that I had and the way that I was coaching and all of that actually could not get me to $1 million because it wasn't sustainable, right? It was going to break crossing into the $1 million level. I needed a whole new structure of programs. I needed a whole new way of delivering them. The way that I was delivering them, there was no way I was going to be able to do it at that pace with the way that I was delivering them and actually hit my $1 million. And so at that mastermind, I made a decision that I was like, oh no, I'm going to build a multi-million-dollar business. Like I was thinking too small. Like that was it. I walked away and I was like, wow, I was thinking too small. That was my biggest issue. I am going to build a multi-million-dollar business. And so from that day forward, I started focusing on infrastructure in order to support a multi-million-dollar business. And don't you know, my first year of focusing on that, right? Yes, I hit like 1.4 million, not this past year, but the year prior. Low key, I was trying to hit 3 million, right? So I underestimated what it was going to take, but right, I still hit above what my goal had been for years. I have been in business since 2016, right? Never had gotten close. The moment I overshoot it, actually land above what the original target was, right? Shoot for the stars, and at least you will land on the moon. And I learned so much in the process about how you have to get clear on what is actually required when you say you want these things. For instance, I had a very 2D understanding of generating revenue in your business. I thought it was just like, oh, you just, increase your marketing. Like, I don't know, make more YouTube videos or run more ads or like whatever, do videos so that the Instagram algorithm picks you up and you make more sales and, that's it. I didn't realize that there are other constraints in the business, meaning, do you have customer service people in place who can support all the new people who are coming in? Do you have coaches on staff, right? I now have coaches on staff to support all the new people who are coming in, because if it was just dependent on me and I was facilitating all of the coaching and all of the training programs in my program, like we wouldn't be able to support all the people that were coming in. So I had to teach other people my methodology and also find people who are certified and accredited. By the way, we have 3 PhDs in my coaching program alone, just supporting and helping teach my coaching methodology. So this is what I'm saying. I had to like rethink everything in order to support all this revenue that I said I wanted. Another thing that no one talks about, especially when you are trying to get to $1 million, but even trying to get to multi-million dollars, no one talks about the leadership required. Oh, no one talks about that. And I'm not just talking about the leadership required for you, even though there's a lot of leadership that you are going to have to learn and develop in order to be CEO and all of that stuff, which by the way, I talk about in my other podcast series called the CEO series. I guess this kind of could have been a part of my CEO series, but I have a different idea for this month's CEO series podcast, but you can check that out, where I talk about kind of the behind the scenes of what it looks like to really shift from being a solo entrepreneur to becoming like a CEO of a company. Like there's a lot of growing pains that really no one talks about. But when I say no one talks about leadership, I mean no one talks about the leadership that you need to install in your business in order to keep all the operations and everything running as it should be. Remember, I came from a solo entrepreneur mindset. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm the business basically, and I do everything, but then I outsource, right? I was big on outsourcing, delegate. Oh, you get some assistants here, some people who can help you do things. What you don't realize is, again, as the business grows and you have all these people that you've delegated stuff to who are doing things for you, you can't be the manager for every department, right? So I delegated all this stuff. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. I delegated my social media. Oh, I'm feeling good. I delegated my video editing, right? Hey, video editor. Oh, I feel good. I've delegated my bookkeeping. I've delegated this. I've delegated that. You essentially have created all these different departments in your business, but you're the manager for like 6 different departments. And that takes time, like having meetings with all of your departments, having one-on-ones with all the people who are working for you, quality controlling everything, right? Oh yes, now you have a team that is doing your social media, but they're coming to you all the time and they're like, oh, is this what you wanted? Is this approved? Before we put it on your Instagram, you start to become the bottleneck in a new way, and that you are the leader for all of these people who are doing all of these things in the business. And so again, people say it so flippantly, like, oh yeah, I want to build $1 million business, or I want to build a multi-million-dollar business, or I want to have $100,000 months, $200,000 months, $500,000 months, right? Everybody wants 6-figure months. And again, they don't understand the infrastructure required for that to even be possible, right? The amount of people, leaders that you are going to need on your team who can make sure that the people you have hired and delegated things to are doing things according to the standards that you have set in your business, that's a whole nother layer that you need to install. You need leadership. And I feel like I mentioned this in another video that I did, but I have a whole new respect for the practice of leadership coaching, of leadership consulting. I used to think it was like bunk, right? When corporations were spending tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on training for their leaders. I totally get it now, because no business at a 7-figure, or certainly at a multi-7-figure level, is successful without leaders in place who can make sure that the work that is being done at the front line level is actually being done sufficiently, right? So I say all that to say it's kind of a long-winded rant, but I wish for more entrepreneurs, especially more women entrepreneurs, to go after that 7-figure revenue, but understand that if you truly in your heart of hearts desire to build $1 million business, and I think it is a great and honorable and noble goal to have, right? For all the people in the comments who want to roll their eyes and, you know, talk about, oh, greedy rich people, whatever. Let's talk about all the people that get hired when you generate that revenue, because no, you don't get to keep it all yourself. And there's no way that you can build a business that large, $1 million and beyond, and not have some support. Let's talk about the sustainability for your clients, right? That's another thing people don't talk about. In order for you to maintain, like imagine you go to a car dealership and you purchase a car and they give you a great deal on it, but you go back to the dealership because, I don't know, you need your tires rotated or, you know, just normal maintenance, you know, you're coming up on 30,000 miles or whatever, and that dealership is out of business and can't service your car, or even that car manufacturer is out of business and you can't get parts to repair your car, right? You do your clientele a disservice if you don't maintain your business so that they can continue to get support from you for what they just purchased. It's not just about the sale, it's are you caring for people after you've made the sale? And that kind of care and customer service and follow-up and all of that, yes, even in a coaching business, requires that you have adequate revenue, high enough revenue to support all of that, to support the new clients who are coming in, but to support the clients who have been there for a while as well. So again, we have to get out of this mindset of, oh, I don't want to hit 7 figures because that's greedy. No. You want to hit 7 figures because you want to add more stability to your business, not just for yourself, but for your clients, for your employees, and for all the people that you're supporting, right? It's really a noble and honorable calling to say, I want to be a leader at a level that generates revenue that people are going to eat off of, right? People are going to build their own livelihoods within my business. That's not something to be dismissed. And I do wish that more women who have the capacity for that, and this is not to say that women don't have the capacity for that, but I'm just saying, I know that that's not every woman's dream. But for the women who that is their dream, but who have felt like their voice has been silenced, oh, I can't raise my hand and say that that's my dream, I want to encourage you to go ahead and make that your dream, especially if you see yourself as that type of leader. But just know that if you are like, hey, okay, I've opened my brain, my mind to the idea of hitting 7 figures, the first thing you need to do if you want to build a 7-figure business is you need to shoot for building a multi-7-figure business, because the decisions that you make for building from the outset a multi-7-figure business are going to be different than the ones that you make from the outset for building a 7-figure business or even a 6-figure business. Again, the products that you choose to come out with, the pricing that you choose, whether or not you deliver it or you're hiring people, or like everything is going to be different, because you'll realize that a lot of the offerings and the way you were structuring your business at the 6 and even 7-figure level are not sustainable at the multi-7-figure level. And even though that feels very out of reach, shoot out of reach, because if you miss it, again, you'll hit a target that's higher than you would have hit had you made 7 figures from the outset your goal. Rant over, all right? So hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you're like, me, I'm one of those 7-figure aspirational coaches. This is truly what I want to build in my practice. Come on in. I highly invite you to apply to my CLS coaching certification. No, CLS doesn't just stand for my initials. It actually stands for the Coach of Life Success, which is the designation that we will provide you after you earn your accredited coaching certification. Yes, our program is accredited. And so from there, you will not only learn how to coach, you'll learn how to come up with your own methodology, which will help you stand out from the crowd. We help you pick your niche. And if you so choose, we even have an option where we will show you how to build your entire coaching brand from scratch so that you can become the next big name in your industry. So if that sounds of interest to you, go ahead and click the link below to apply. And if accepted, you'll be invited to a call with my team of enrollment coordinators who will walk you through the entire process. But with that, thanks so much for listening / watching this podcast episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.